The first song that I wrote, completed, and finished was called Like a Lion 2. And there's no part 1, it was just Like a Lion 2. And it was about basically a man who is real big. It's singing about a lion, but it's kind of in relation to, you know, a person who's real powerful. Like the lion is the strongest beast of the jungle, you know. So there's people in the world who are like lions because they have so much power. And so that's kind of what it was about. And I have the recording somewhere because I'd like to bring that out someday. So I was in the rock group and I was making the rap songs. And the rock group eventually wanted to go into heavy metal. They wanted to start doing, and they knew that I didn't want to do that. So they basically kicked me out. They formed another band with all the same members except me and a different singer. I was on my own at that point. I wasn't in a band. And then I heard B.O.B.'s mixtape. It was called B.O.B. versus Bobby Ray. And on that album, he has songs where he sings and raps. And he plays guitar, you know, and keyboard. And I'm like, oh, wow, so you can actually combine the two. And then so that opened up a whole new wave. So that's when I went solo. I was a junior in high school at that time. I was called the B.I.Z. before that, and that's when I dropped that and just went to Chris Black. And now all my music since then has been under the name Chris Black.
They say this life is but a dream. Open your eyes, it's no surprise.
One of my favorites is called Night Walk. I like that one because it starts off kind of big and loud, and it's almost like an anthem type of singing. And then it dies down, and I'm singing about night walk, which is something I do when the weather gets nice. I'll just take a walk at night around the block and I'll just kind of pray as I'm walking. I think a lot of people should do that, like just take a night walk and just walk and pray, you know, and it really just, because you're out there and you're away from the phone, you know, and it's just like, you kind of think a little bit. Another one I like is Lamentations. I really like that one just because of the vibe and the lyrics. I said a lot of truth on that song about myself that a lot of times I try to hide. So I really like that one. And The Strength. That will be out on my next album, Second Mile, which I intend to have out this summer. So I'm looking at maybe July or August. So yeah, Fallen, which is on my website right now, chrisblackohio.com.
At the head, there's this big.
The song Fallen was about a rancher out west who was killed. He was gunned down by the FBI and the Oregon State Police out in Oregon last January 2016.
Freedom is worth it.
I walked up falling, I walked up falling, I walked up falling, oh Lucifer, son of the morning.
A lot of ranchers and kind of like militia people went to some like wildlife preserve, and they're basically just saying that this preserve belongs to the county, Harney County, and not to the federal government. And so there's kind of a showdown. I agree with the intentions of Lavoy Finicum, who is what that song is about. I really think that he was just a legitimate guy who, out of the goodness of his heart, was trying to serve God and serve his country in bringing us back to freedom and liberty, which is something so important nowadays because it's like every week we see liberties getting eroded, and there's more wars, and there's more threats and reasons why you should give up your freedoms. I think Lavoy Finicum was really trying to stand for freedom and liberty, and he really meant well. And he went down with his hands in the air and his cowboy hat on, and I think it was just a really cool statement that he made. And so I'm trying to make that into a rap song.
Trying to find some solid ground. Hey.
The new album is called Second Mile, and I get that name from where Jesus says, if a man compels you to go a mile, go with him twain, which means two. And so that's what this title is in reference to, because it's been over 3 years now since I've released an album, and that was Red Pill in 2014. And that Red Pill was my third album at the time. So I consider, because I did a lot up until that point, up until 2014. You know, I had done a show for Microsoft and at Ohio State, and I had done a lot of big things. And I think over the past 3 years when I haven't been releasing music, it's been me kind of maturing and cleaning up my life. And I consider those old songs the first mile. And so this album now is me trying to walk the second mile, which, yeah, the first mile was tough and long, but now it's like, all right, let's do it over again. Because now I feel like now I have purpose to my music, and so now I want to do it right. And that's what this album, Second Mile, is about. That's the concept. And the beginning of the album is kind of picking up where I left off, and it's basically me saying, oh, you know, I don't think I can do this anymore. I just don't got it anymore. You know, and then from there I get motivated, and basically the album kind of flows. You know, there's like a progression of ideas. So that's the Second Mile. Really, I'm treating it as starting over with a clean slate. I'm not there anymore. I'm here. I'm 3 years older now. I'm starting over, which I'm totally okay with because now I have purpose to my music. I go back to my Against All Odds album because I think that's when I was just innocently making music. After that, once I started getting popular and things like that, then I started trying to fall into the typical rapper style of like, oh, I'm the best, you know, that mentality and all that, trying to dress like them. And I look back on it, it's just like, that's stupid. You know, that wasn't me. And I've watched some of my old videos of me talking, and I'm like, I used to talk like that? Like, I used to like use that slang, and you know, I don't know. And not that slang is bad or anything like that. It's just that that's not who I was. You know, I was trying to be something that I wasn't. And I had my keyboard, and once I learned how to record songs, I was making these stupid beats and writing these stupid rap songs. And I never showed them to anyone, but it's just because I loved it. It was just fun, you know? I was like, man, this is cool. You can actually make songs by yourself. I think my path musically can relate to a lot of people's path musically. People who have a dream and want to chase it. I think it starts very innocently, and it just starts out of the love of music, or it should. And if it doesn't start from that, then you might want to check your intentions. But for me, it started just out of a genuine love for music. So that, I think you always need to have that passion and that love and that just, that pureness, that innocence, you know. And I think I'm kind of getting back to that now because I realize that I'm not making it music or die. Music is to help people, and it's to speak to people and to speak for people, and it's to put them in a better mood. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make songs for that purpose now. And if it turns into something where I can quit other jobs and just do it full time, then I'll probably do that. You know, but I'm not making it music or die, because when you do that, then you get into a sense of you're just making songs just to make just to keep income coming in, and the passion has been taken away from it.
Dying of thirst, trying to find an oasis. Finally paying for all the time that I've wasted. I said life was a race, but I was driving Miss Daisy. See, the truth will shine a light on all your lies if you face it. And so that's.
I started in a very innocent intention. You know, I just loved music. I loved singing. In choir classes in elementary school, I was always the loudest one singing just because it was a blast. And as time went on, and I started getting popular for it and things like that, I started seeing like, oh wow, girls like me because of this, you know? Oh, people like me because of this. And so that I started feeding into that. And that's when my music started going downhill, and I actually, looking back, I actually started losing a lot of followers and supporters because of that. And that's when I got a real bitter taste in my mouth, and I considered just not even making music anymore. And so the last 3 years, when I haven't been releasing an album, but the last 3 years were necessary because it's helped me clean myself up and get back to the innocence of making music and get to a better purpose. Because now my purpose is, you know, there's so much wrong with the world today. My purpose, I feel like in music, the purpose that I've attributed to it is just to help people and to give people the truth. I want to give people the truth of this world, the truth of Jesus Christ, and I want to help lives. I want to change lives and make people's lives better and help people realize that they have value in themselves. Because so many songs on the radio try to teach you that you're worthless unless you have a hot girl, or you're worthless unless you have multiple women, or you're worthless unless you have nice shoes or a nice car. So you feel like, oh, I need that. And there's enough of that, so if nothing else, I want people to know that they have worth and that they have value, in themselves. And you don't have to be some superstar. I started off innocently, then I got corrupted, and now I'm trying to get back to that innocence, but still put a purpose to it. Just understand that I take this very seriously and that I don't do this, as a joke. I make most of my own music and I play the instruments and things like that. And what I really love and what I think the hip-hop community needs is to get to music, to get back to music. My beef is with people making songs because they know it's going to be catchy and they know it's going to sell. And I think we just need to get back to music. So I'm trying to get to live instruments and trying to get back to just real music as much as possible. Yeah, I guess yeah.
This is the how you learn it. I know at night you're nervous. You know the tide is turning. You feel the tires turning. My verses, entire sermons. Little bit of yes, but sweet as Aunt Jemima's syrup. Ready to ride, put my feet inside the stirrups. I'm trying to spur a connection. You're just trying to find some service. It hurts to give you this message, but someone's gotta mention. You're piling up your debt and God is coming to collect it. He's gotta score, he's gotta settle. I hope you've grown cold, cause you're about to be hot forever.